what should you do or not do with pre-foreclosures? What should you say or not say? Reality is you get in front of these leads, you might bought a list, you got them in your CRM, you've door knocked them, and you kind of understand the foreclosure process, but you don't know what to do next. So we're gonna dive into this, exactly what you should do or say and what you should not do or say in these situations, because what you do when you open your mouth or even with your body language can kill a deal. And here's some things that you should do to try and extend that conversation further and ultimately make a deal happen. The first most obvious step, if you haven't heard this on any of our content before, is don't say I'm here to buy your house and that you're in foreclosure, I can buy your house cash. If you just go at it immediately to purchase the property and be a cash buyer, their guard's gonna go up. They're gonna think you're only there to take advantage of them and steal their property. At the end of the day, you might run into some people that wanna sell. Obviously that happens, but if that's your approach with everything, you're gonna lose a lot of deals because you're not coming with any genuine trust and not thinking of the homeowner's position and really where they're at and meeting them where they're at. Instead, what you should say is, hey, I'm here locally. Let's say you're knocking on their door, maybe you're calling them on the phone. I get the notices sent to me from the county. It looked like there may have been an auction posted for the upcoming month or so. Has anyone explained those options to get it stopped? And really, I don't want them to just think I'm only here to hear their options. I just want to make sure they understand, okay, what is it that you do? Because when you call and text someone or door knock them, they want to know who you are and what you do. So when they ask the question, be like, yeah, that's a great question. I'm Ben, I work with X company, or I'm local here and I just work with myself. I really help people understand their options to avoid foreclosure. Sometimes people need to sell it just to get out from under it beforehand. We really can show you what you can do to keep it. If not, sometimes we buy houses. Our goal is not to buy every house. Some of them we can't even purchase. But if the situation happens, someone does need to sell it, we can walk them through those options as well. But what is your goal? Is it to keep the house? Is it to sell? Based on what their goal is, I'm gonna walk them through their options and show them what they can do to stay. But if they already told me they wanna sell, then obviously I'm gonna show them what that looks like to sell. So that's why it's great to ask the question of what is your goal? So on the flip side of this, you don't wanna say, I can buy your house cash immediately. You also don't wanna say, I'm not here to buy anyone's house and I'm just here to help. Because at the end of the day, people know you're in it for some reason. And when you level with them, they're going to be more real with you. They say, oh, what's in it for you? Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, obviously I got to feed my family as well. We really have two sides to our business. We help a lot of people out of probate situations, foreclosures, divorce, and every now and then someone does need to sell their house to get out from that situation. But we can walk you through what you can do to keep it. And sometimes people need to sell. And every now and then our real estate department can buy houses. Don't just say, hey, I'm only here to show you the option. People know that's not real and genuine. Level with them and tell them, hey, obviously I got a family to feed. I can explain how our process works, but what is your goal so I can better understand which direction to point. Never say that I'm working with the lender or I'm working with the county. As the investor or wholesaler, flipper, never say that you are working with the bank or working with the lender. This is just fraud and just very misleading and could probably get you in a ton of trouble. It really has gotten people in trouble, especially if you say you're working with the lender or directly with the county. I tell people I get the notices sent to me from the county. We have software we use or we just check it. But if you are giving the homeowner the impression that you're working with the bank and that you're gonna show them their options, they need to sell their house, they're gonna catch on to that and people are probably gonna report that, and that's how people get in trouble. So never mislead someone. Don't say that you're working with the lender or you're working with the bank. Obviously tell them that you're a company that is a real estate company and we can buy houses, but we also show people how to stop foreclosure, and every now and then we end up buying their house. Also, don't tell people that you can stay in the house and stop their foreclosure. This is where a lot of people end up doing deals that's gonna probably get them in a sticky situation, and you don't really get in a situation until you've done it, and it's usually gonna happen down the line, right? This is the people that say, hey, I'll catch up your mortgage and you can stay in the house, and really they're reinstating the loan. They're letting the homeowner just stay there and leasing it back. A lot of times people can get into a sticky situation where they basically just took all their equity. The homeowner didn't understand that they sold the house, and you get into homestead laws and real estate attorneys, and that can get you in a lot of trouble. So make sure it's very clear. If you're going to lease it back to someone, typically we're just doing a temporary lease back to help them relocate. Or if it's a long-term partnership, a very unique situation where we're doing a joint venture or a profit split where they're going to be getting part of those sale proceeds after they've been there for X amount of years. Instead, in that same situation, I can tell people that, yeah, I can stop the foreclosure by catching up your payments and giving you a little bit of time to help relocate. And they're gonna say, hey, well, why can't I just stay here? I'll rent it back from you. And ultimately, I explain to them, hey, you're behind on payments, your credit's not good, and you may not have great active income. So in the same way that the bank's doing a foreclosure and they're not allowing you to stay there, we have a lot of liability if we lease it back to someone that doesn't have good credit, doesn't have good income. And so we're not able to do a lease back long term to someone that's not able to show that credibility. So they understand that, and sometimes you just have to reframe that logic. And that's where I'm usually explaining, hey, we'd rather do a cash offer, we'd rather buy the house, taking over the payments, do something like subject to, get them some money, help them relocate. And really I'm showing them like no one is going to take on that liability to let you stay there. So if someone's offering that, it's usually not legal or not a good valid option because of the homestead laws in your state. When you're talking to homeowners as well, you don't need to be using any real estate jargon. You shouldn't be saying subject to or novation or ARV, all these things that homeowners don't understand. You need to talk to them in the most simple format. And that's the same way you shouldn't make a huge emphasis on saying contract or sign this contract. You should say, hey, let's get the paperwork sent to title. If I'm explaining to someone that where you can catch up their payments, buy the house, taking over the existing financing, I make sure they understand, hey, that mortgage stays in place, we take title of the house. But since there's not enough equity to get you a cash offer, or since this is gonna actually repair your credit over the long haul, and we might be able to do a different solution, I'm not always going into all the details of the name, but I'm telling them, hey, we're catching up the payments, we buy the house, take over the payments on the note that you have, and moving forward, right, that remains on the credit until we sell or refinance. So any of those real estate jargon that you're saying, just make it simplified. At the end of the day, you gotta understand the homeowner needs to know what's happening. Obviously, they need to know the paperwork that they're signing. But when you say sign, contract, ARV, all these different things that real estate people know, the homeowner is just gonna get confused, and most people aren't gonna sign a contract when they're confused or they don't trust you. A huge thing not to do is don't listen. That's like a double negative, but basically the big thing to do is actually listen and be human. People are gonna tell you and unload their whole story on you. Yeah, I've been in the hospital for 6 months, I got medical bills, I lost my job. And then you just go straight into talking about like their mortgage payments and their back payments and all this stuff, instead of stopping, realizing they're a human being, saying, hey man, I'm sorry, I'm praying for you, or I'm thinking about you, and I'm really sorry to hear that. We have a lot of people that are going through the same thing, or I had X and X person I know that went through the same thing. How's that been? Like, have you been able to get a new job? Are you healthy now? Okay, that's what's most important. So like stopping and reflecting and building rapport. People wonder why a lot of people end up getting a deal or working with someone is not because, they knew everything about real estate. It's just because they knew how to make a friend, build rapport, and earn trust. And if you can't do that, first thing, if you can't listen to what someone's saying on the phone because you're so caught up in what you're gonna say next, they're not gonna feel seen or heard, and you're missing the most important thing in the conversation. So stop, listen to what someone's saying, and literally just sit there and recognize that with them, because that's gonna get you more rapport and longer conversations and more deals in the long haul than anything else. Another thing not to do is don't handle every cold call or door knock the same as every other investor, right? The person's going to have sales resistance. The moment you knock on the door, the moment you call them, if you sound or look like every single other person, they're gonna shut the door or they're gonna turn off their phone or end the call. So I'm always doing pattern interrupts. If I'm at the door, I'm leaning off sideways, I'm looking busy, I'm trying to get them to come outside, I'm talking about something in their yard or their dog. If I'm on the phone, I'm doing a little stutter, like, hey, can you hear me okay? Okay, perfect. I actually just was looking at a notice here, and I sound kind of curious and confused, right? If I'm just saying, hey, is this Jenny? That's a great thing of what not to say. Don't say, is this someone? Because now they're assuming that you're just on a sales call. And rather than saying, hey, Jenny, it's Ben. And then they're like, what, Ben, how's it going? Okay. Yeah, I was just noticed the county auction here for the upcoming month. I'm sure you're getting a ton of phone calls. So don't say, is this something? Or is this Jenny? Or is this Ben? Say, hey, Jenny, it's Ben. And you're gonna have way more credibility. You're gonna have way more confidence on the phone. And your conversations are just gonna get past that initial hump of the not interested or just immediately hanging up the phone. Do not waste time with bad deals. This should be something you learn very quickly. If they've bought their house in the last 2 years, they have a high interest rate, and they're in foreclosure, there's probably gonna be no deal other than a short sale. So unless you wanna go figure out that whole process, it's not worth spending 30, 40, 50 minutes trying to figure out how you can help someone that ultimately can't do anything but a short sale. So figure out how long they've owned it, look at when they purchased their house on Zillow, or ask them and figure out, okay, are they on the deed? Do they have any equity? Is there any other liens that are going to kill the deal? I want to quickly figure out, is there even any potential that the foreclosure can get stopped or that the house can be purchased by basically how much equity they have. Did they do a bunch of loan modifications that could kill the deal for HUD liens? Did they put solar on the house and they still don't have that much equity? All those kind of things. You don't want to spend a ton of time with someone that isn't going to be able to do anything to stop the foreclosure. Do not build rapport, make a good connection, have a phone call, and then just never follow up with that lead again. I've hammered on this with foreclosures so much, but you're not going to get deals if you don't follow up. So what to do? If you should have a CRM or some sort of system, because at the beginning I was doing this on my phone and you're trying to put it in your note sheet, you're texting people and saving them your contacts. You need to be following up every couple days. If you're top of mind for them, they're going to be you're going to be top of mind for them. They're going to be top of mind for you. So they're getting reached out to by anyone and everyone. And if you've already built a good connection and they had a 30-40 minute conversation with you, make sure they save your number and that you follow up with them every couple days. You're going to seem like you're annoying, but at the end of the day, they're going to stick their head in the sand, or they're going to get reached out to by 5-10 other investors, and they're going to go with whoever was top of mind to them. So make sure you follow up, save your contact in their phone, or make sure they do that. And don't think that one conversation is going to do. Do track your KPIs. Don't not track anything. This is a great way to have the emotional roller coaster. I love our new setup with our system and anyone in our CRM. We actually have an automatic weekly and monthly KPI tracking through our CRM database. Every text that's sent, any person that opted in and said they were interested, any appointment booked, any under contract and closed. And now I can see every single week and month generally how many texts we need to send to get a contract, or how many Facebook leads coming in to a contract, how many phone calls. So we can see exactly like, okay, I know if I call this many leads, I text this many people, I'm gonna get a contract. It releases and eliminates that emotional aspect of not knowing why you have a deal yet. Is have you put in the inputs and the follow-up to actually get a contract. So make sure you're tracking your numbers. That might be basic at the beginning on Google Sheets, but the more you can get systematized and run it like an actual business, the more deals you're gonna get. With that being said, don't contact foreclosures weeks after they've been on the foreclosure date to start, right? That's not to say that you can't get deals. At the end of the day, contacting anyone, taking action, following up is better than nothing, right? But if you're gonna be active in this business, try to get first to market data, go straight to the county site or use PropBot USA. And the speed to lead just helps that rapport building at the beginning. If you're getting data from like Deal Machine, PropScreen, these are great sources for all these other like niche lists that you're building. But if you're targeting pre-foreclosures, you need to try and get them speed to lead initially. And that's why we use PropBot USA. It's designed to be the fastest and put it straight into our emails, which can go straight into our CRM or door knock it. I actually posted a YouTube video, one of our last door knocking videos, where I door knocked the house the day the list came out. I door knocked him at 5 o'clock. We had already sent a text early that morning, and he had already seen our company, seen our text message, didn't reply. I knocked on the door, I mentioned our company name, and he was already looking at our landing page talking about how we stop foreclosures. So huge credibility to be speed to lead and to get that data faster than anyone else. Do not talk crap on every other company, because people can feel if you're genuine, right? And I've made this mistake even in that same video I was talking about, where I was trying to make him conscious of the good and bad actors that can be in this real estate business. But a lot of times I see people already have a deal under contract, or they're already working with another company, and say, oh, that's great. Like, what was it that you were trying to do? Rather than just talking crap on them, because it makes you look bad if you just talk crap on everyone else, especially if you're gonna try and get a deal under contract when you know another company already has it under contract. No one wants to do that to you, or you don't want that happening to you. So you should tell them, hey, you already have that under contract with them. Make sure that they have it open at title and they're able to close. If not, then we can help. But while you have an open contract, I can't help you, and neither can anyone else. And I wish every other investor would do that. I've seen people do that to us, and I obviously have seen people just go the complete opposite route and say, hey, F these guys, they're just trying to screw you. And they basically try and step in and get the deal under contract even though we already have it open at title. Do understand the numbers and don't overpromise and underdeliver. This is the biggest reason wholesalers get a bad rap, and you can really mess this up, especially with someone in pre-foreclosure, because they're on a deadline and your inexperience or inability to understand after repair value or get the property under contract at the right price, you overpromise all these things and then you underdeliver right before the foreclosure. And yes, this weird things happen all the time. We have a deal right now where like the repair budget came in 30 grand higher than what we thought, and we didn't know until you actually go inspect it and look at the house. And sometimes homeowners don't always tell you all that, right? But if you're always over-promising, under-delivering, just filing a memorandum on there and then leaving someone like right before foreclosure to get foreclosed on, and that's just the worst business practice that you could possibly do. So make sure you understand your market, you know what the value of the houses is, you know how to get this under contract so that you can actually make a deal happen and execute at a title company, right? You shouldn't be getting a property under contract and just willy-nilly throwing it out there, not even sending it to title, not seeing what liens are on there, not finding a buyer at the right price, or no buyer is ever gonna be able to purchase at a price that's higher than what you have it at, or you know that you can't close and you're just wasting everyone's time. So make sure you understand the market and do your due diligence so that you can actually help these homeowners before the foreclosure. Hopefully this is helpful. I'm always going to think of something else to do or not to do. So if you guys want to see our full business, how we get our leads, network with other people in our whole community, hit the link in the description and join our free pre-foreclosure real estate school group. We do live calls every single week, role plays, and everything you need to know for pre-foreclosure. So find us there and we'll see you on the next video.